So what are we talking about? What's our topic?
Welcome back to the 8th episode of Real Estate Agent Mastery. This is Matthew Davis, here, team member of First State Home Team, and this is Rakan Abazar, the team leader,
Indeed.
the killer in the office. Right?
I try.
He tries. And he is. So, yeah, what are we talking about today?
I don't know. We probably should have figured that out before we hopped on.
Yeah, we did. We have a few different things that we've talked about before. We just didn't like the way the video came out, so we're thinking about doing one of the two.
Redoing
so,
Yep.
Whatever of the other ideas that we don't do today, we'll probably just do another podcast on. So I think we're between talking about time blocking, time management, which kind of plays into like actually building a business around yourself as a real estate agent, or we can talk about open houses. Let's talk about time blocking. You down? You kind of want to talk about open houses, though.
Yeah.
I just talk about open houses.
Oh, yeah. Fine. All right. So we just did the business plan last week, right?
Yep.
Where we built out, if you watched the last video we did, we built out the bucket, the SOI bucket, we built out the marketing and advertising bucket, we built out the prospecting bucket, right?
Yep.
So in the example we used, obviously you can do any kind of prospecting that your little heart desires, but we built out open houses, right? So let's talk about it. How do you get set up for an open house? How do you identify a good open house? What do you do during the open house? What do you do after the open house? All of that, right?
See, that's That's a preview. However, we forgot. We got to do guess the price first.
Okay.
And we were given some feedback. We got to keep it short. So
1 minute.
We'll keep this to 2 minutes. I'm just going to
2 minutes?
rapidly fire, if you know what this is, rapidly fire a bunch of different stats of a closed home here, probably in Newcastle County, but it could be outside of that.
Yep.
Here in Delaware. And he's going to try to guess the price.
Yep.
So right now he's about 2 for 4, right? I'd say how he wins is being, depending on the price, right? If it's a lower price point, probably within 10,000, higher price point, maybe like 20, could be 30, whatever. So I'm just going to give you a bunch of stats on this home. Okay.
And you guys listening, try to guess along too. See how well you do.
Yeah. Stop the video and go down in the comment section and see what you think. So this is the neighborhood of Pigeon Run. Okay. You know where that's at?
Yep.
Got it. The zip code 19701. We have 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms. Okay, 1650 finished above grade square footage, built 1980. Okay.
Split level?
Nope.
No.
Rancher.
Okay.
Let's see here. Let's look at some pictures. This sold not long ago. You do have a 2-car garage. It's a smaller, it's like the smaller 2-car garage, unfinished basement. You have a back, like a 3 Seasons. Looks like, in terms of condition, you have carpet, but it looks like good condition. That might be all I give you. The roof looks a bit older.
Like a quarter acre-ish?
Yes.
And what'd you say, condition? Like updated or grandma?
Let's see. It's actually 1.5 acre.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was more in the neighborhood. See, it's hard to do this on my phone. But then I'm gonna give you condition, and then you gotta guess.
Okay.
Hold on. The pictures look really good. Okay, condition's good. We're talking. I can't tell if that's granite or if that's laminate. It actually looks like granite countertops. Older appliances. The fridge looks pretty new. Cabinets are like middle of the run, right? You do have tile though, so that's cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave you at that though.
Unfinished
so basement. Middle condition.
Unfinished basement.
Unfinished basement, correct.
Okay. 3 1.5, 1,600 square feet.
1650. Yep.
1650. Okay. I'm gonna go. Give me some Jeopardy music here.
Yep. I was gonna just say start the countdown. Ready? 10, 9, 8.
No,
Game 7.
Give me the music.
7. Last shot.
Give me the music.
Dude, I can't pull it up in enough time.
I didn't mean for you to pull it up.
Oh yeah, sorry. All
right.
That's probably annoying for them to hear.
I'm gonna say 435.
It's not a bad guess. 415.
Yeah.
415. I actually think this was a really good buy.
There you go.
I think whoever bought this got a good
415 is pretty good.
415 for 1.5 acre. You're in decent part of Bear.
So mentally, I just thought about what would that home look like in a normal neighborhood that didn't have the 1.5 acres. Probably be like 325 to 350 range. Maybe probably like 350.
Yeah,
350, and then just add in the acreage. So
yeah,
another
it definitely
like
has
75,000 ish.
Definitely had some good bone. Like
Yeah.
that house would be awesome to build out.
Yeah.
That's an awesome house for somebody.
Pretty solid deal.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so let's talk about open house.
So did I get that one? You gonna give it to me?
20,000. 20,000.
415 is a very specific price too. What did I say? 435 or 445? No, 435. Yeah,
35. I don't know. Is
it's
that
pretty
a
damn
dub?
good.
We got to come up with the number. We got to say like, okay, below 500,000.
Yeah,
you have to be within
like 15.
15.
Okay.
Right. And then above, you could be within 25 or something. Right?
That's fair.
All right.
Cool.
So
what are we talking about today? Open houses.
Open houses. Yep. So at the same overview topics that you want to go over by the end of this podcast, you should be able to know these things, right? What were those things that you said previous to doing Guess the Price?
So pre, during, and post, right? So what are you going to do leading up to the open house? What are you going to do during the open house? What are you going to do after the open house? What are the specific steps that you take, right? Not just talking about like follow up. We're talking about what do you do to follow up? When do you follow up? And what do you say?
Got it.
So you guys all have like an actual game plan that all you have to do is steal this and do it. Right? You just got to put in the work.
Okay, I have a good starting point. Okay, getting your open house, like just scheduling the open house. Right? What does that even mean? Okay. Do you want me to talk to this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so in general, let's just say it's a Monday. You're looking to schedule your open house. Of course, sooner the better. You can get more marketing for the open house. But I would say if you have someone on your team that has a listing, it'd be awesome to do that. But maybe a lot of times, if it's on a specific area that you want to be in or something along those lines, what you can do is go in the MLS. Just when you have all the listings right there that come up, the big, the columns in the list, just click on office name, and you can go to
sort it alphabetically.
Correct, and it'll go to whatever your brokerage is. So for us, it'd be Keller Williams, and then look at the listings that are, really there's going to be all of your listings. Ideally, you want to do an open house that just hit the market, right? So like the first weekend it's on, right? Ideally, of course.
Something's better than nothing. If you're gonna chill at home on a Saturday and watch Netflix, or do an open house on a home that's been on the market for 3 months, even if one person walks into that door, it's a better use of your time than watching Netflix. Even if
no
one
walks into the open house, you can still leverage that open house in terms of the things that we'll talk about. The neighborhood and social media, stuff like that. So you go there, you can call the agents from the brokerage that you're with or whatever, and say, hey, can I do an open house? What does that conversation look like? Let's be specific and really help these people out.
I don't think that's a complicated conversation. You just go, if you don't know them, you introduce yourself, say, hey, I'm an agent here at your office. I saw you're listing 123 Main Street. I'd love to host an open house there. Actually, would probably use that reverse language, right? Where it's, hey, would you be opposed to me holding an open house there this weekend?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Getting it out, and then they say yes. They put it up on the open.
Yeah, and you just gotta sell it to them, maybe, right? Most people will just let you do it, but if they give you a little pushback, you're just like, hey, look, I'm going to post this on social media. You're going to look great to your clients by doing the open house, and you can still take off and chill on the weekend, and I'll do all the work, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Okay, so you're able to schedule the open house. A couple of things about that. I mean, I would make a video, post it to your social media. You could even blast out your database, right? Hey, we're doing an open house at 123 Main Street. Ideally, I mean, everybody just does the Canva open house picture, post that. Obviously, you can do that. That's great. But, I mean, even better than that is probably a video. Like, record yourself saying, hey, listen, I'm going to be at this house on blah, blah, blah at this time. Come and check it out. I would love to see you there. I'm going to have, snacks, warm cookie, for the North Wilmington listing that I did the open house with. When I was talking to the neighbors and on social media, I was like, hey, she just made like warm cookies. I didn't even know she was going to do this.
Bob and Peggy.
Yeah.
Yep. They're great.
People thought that was funny. So I would just leverage social media up into that as well, because that's another thing. Even if no one shows up to that open house, some advice I've gotten is just always look busy, right? If you always look busy on social media, dude, people don't know whether you're actually doing business or not really. But if you look like it, they trust you more automatically.
I've had so many people say like, oh, do you know so-and-so? They're crushing it. And I'm like, yeah. They sell like 2 houses a year.
Yeah. Exactly.
Obviously, I don't say that, but like,
Yeah, in the back
mentally
of
I'm
your
like,
mind.
yeah. But it's because they post everybody else's listing and they post their open houses and they post under contract, back on the market, under contract, sold, like
better price.
your memories on Facebook when it comes back a year around, right?
Yeah,
After you
yeah.
post all those things, like, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's so true. No, it's true though. It's true. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so you've booked it. Now maybe you've posted a video about it, a
Mm-hmm.
social media post for yourself.
Well, one thing in our SOP too is to post it on like local Facebook groups too, right? On your social media and on local Facebook groups. And we also, I don't think anyone actually does this, but we have like the SOP, like the text built out where you just copy and paste it. It's like, hey, join me for an open house on 123 Main Street this Saturday, 1 to 3, whatever it is, right? And then underneath you put, looking for a home, but this isn't the one for you. Check out more listings at, here's our website, right? When you just link the your website with the search button on it.
Right. So Facebook groups. Another thing too is your office. They probably have an email campaign. So like for instance, our admin will shoot out the open houses each week to all of the agents in the office. I'd probably do that as well.
Yep. Yeah, it's an easy little thing to just get your name out there. I mean, you're posting it anyway. Why wouldn't you want to put that search link so other people? I mean, you might get an extra couple sales a year out of it.
Yeah, no
potentially.
doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. Yep. Is there any other ways to market that open house beforehand?
I'm sure there are ways. It depends. I mean, it depends if you're knocking out like one open house a month, you can kind of go bigger. If you're trying to really build a business around open houses and you're doing
That's
like
true.
1 or 2 a week, you're probably not going to have that much time to do all those
2 to 3 a weekend
to prep
or
up to it. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also so the next piece of this is not so much marketing it just like social media wise, but also trying to get the open house out there as well is the cold prospecting that comes with it.
Yep.
Right. So we talk about that. What do you do? What are the ways in the SOP, so standard operation procedures, to market that coldly?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally optional, but it's a great way to do it. You could, there's a lot of different ways other than posting on social media. You could door knock the neighbors. You could cold call the neighborhood, whatever it is, right? We were just talking about the other day. If you're putting out open house signs, wherever you're putting them out in the neighborhood, stop at that neighbor's door, knock on the door to say, hey, real quick, I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm a local realtor. We're selling the house down the street. We're holding an open house. Is it all right if I put my sign in your yard, right?
Right. Just start the conversation.
Easy conversation, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
And then maybe after the open house, you swing back, pick up your sign, knock on the door again. Yeah. Hey, great meeting you. Would it be valuable at all if I let you know how much that home sells for? Or, hey, we had like 30 people come through. It's the first weekend on the market. We're probably going to end up with multiple offers. If somebody really wants to buy in this neighborhood, but they don't get this one for whatever reason, or the home doesn't work for them, is it something you've thought about at all? Right. That's an easy one to do. Like there's really no rejection to it. Like you're going and you're being polite and you're asking if it's okay if you stick your sign in the yard, right? And if you're putting out like 10, 15 open house signs, which you should be at least, right? That's a great way to
not putting that
knock it on. Yeah. Knock out a couple extra contacts.
Which means you show up early to the open house, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's another thing. I mean, you just got to show up at least an hour early to put out those signs and maybe take a video of the house, whatever it is. Just set up the open house. We get your snacks out, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Another piece of that relating is I would probably be waving at all the neighbors without cutting the grass, blah, blah, blah. That reminds me, I need to call someone right now. I remember meeting, they're cutting their grass and they said they want to sell in about a year. So I'm coming up on that.
There you go.
That conversation, that maybe what it looks like cold calling. I mean, I could give an example, let's just say you're cold prospecting the neighborhood before the open house or even after, but maybe part of that conversation looks like, ring, ring. Hey, I'm hosting the open house, and I would do a bit of a different intro, but I'm doing the open house at blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure if you saw that. I would love for you to stop by. Do you think you could? They say yes or no. Yeah, I just had a quick question. Is that okay? Yes. Is there any benefit to me reaching out to you afterwards if we have a super busy open house and there's a lot of demand in the neighborhood? Or do you have any, benefit of me reaching out and letting you know how much the home sells for? Or is there any benefit?
Yeah.
And if I have a couple other buyers that are still
Right.
interested in the neighborhood, but they couldn't find what they need here, is there any benefit to that?
Yeah. It's
Yes
like what
or
I
no?
just said with the door knocking.
The door
right?
knocking. Exactly.
Hey, it's the first weekend on the market. We've got a ton of showings. We got a lot of interest. If we end up with multiple offers on the home and strong buyer demand in the neighborhood, like you said, is that something you'd want me to let you know about?
Right. Yeah. Is there any downside to letting
Mhm.
you know that?
Yep.
Got it. Yeah, so that's the cold piece of that. I would door knock and
Yep.
cold prospect.
Yep.
So
Totally optional though. It's only for real ones.
yeah,
Because
no
most people
doubt.
are terrified of that stuff. Most people
Yeah.
won't conquer their fears to just do it and deal with the rejection, right? But anyway,
I feel like I've been cold calling more than I have been the door knocking lately.
it's so easy. I don't know why people don't do it.
Yeah, the cold calling is like super. It's a super easy call.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
fair. Okay, so you have it scheduled. You've marketed it. You've
Mhm.
prospected for it.
Yep.
Because you can turn. By the way, now another piece to that cold calling part. If you want to make that call even easier, because I understand that question. Hey, is there any benefit in case you wanted to sell? I get it. It's not a hard call, but if you think it's even a little hard, start with this. Say, hey, listen, we're doing this open house. Do you know anybody that's looking to move into the neighborhood?
Yep.
That's even easier.
That's an easy one.
That's a super easy one.
That's a layup.
That's a layup.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyways, so you've marketed, you're prospected. What would be next?
Doing the open house.
Doing the open house.
Right.
Okay, so now's the bread and butter.
I guess pre is part of it, is putting up the signs and stuff like that, right? So you should have, like, directional signs are great branding for you to have your sign in the neighborhood, and also people do actually follow the directional signs to get to the open house, right? So it does help with traffic, even in 2025.
Right.
Most people will see it online and use their GPS, but some people do drive by and they'll stop in. So yeah, putting out like 10 to 15 or more if you can. I mean, the more the better.
Right.
There's no limit. But putting out at least like 10 is probably the bare minimum, right?
Right.
And thinking about it strategically, if you're like near like a major roadway, a highway, or something like that, maybe try to put a couple of directional signs like leading up to it, right? Think about like major roadways, trying to pull some traffic off of there, right?
Right. Okay.
And then we also have a giant feather flag that looks really cool in the front yard.
Yeah, it does. It does. It definitely
brings all the buyers to the yard.
You literally cannot miss it. You know exactly what house is got it going on.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard they said you want it to look like a carnival. Like you want it to look like a zoo there, right?
That's interesting.
Like you want it to look wild, because that creates more buyer demand too.
Right.
Because you walk into an open house, nobody's there. It's like, oh yeah, like maybe like it, maybe don't, right? But there's not like a lot of competition kind of feel to it. You walk into an open house and there's like 100 signs leading up to it, and you got the flag in front, and you got music playing, and you got cars down the street. You have to park 10 houses down. Like you're like, damn.
Yeah, you got to come in strong offer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No doubt. Okay, so let's talk about now actually doing the showing. What does that look like?
Yeah. So first, just like when you do listing photography, you should run through the house, check it out, turn on all the lights, open up all the blinds, right? Open them halfway, get as much light in there as possible. We always play music. I find it helps everybody feel more comfortable. It makes it more fun, honestly. If you're sitting there for 2 hours in a dead open house, I'd rather sit there with music than just silence.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a couple speakers. We have Bluetooth speakers that actually sync together. So you could put like one speaker upstairs, one speaker on the main level or downstairs, whatever it is, and have the same music playing throughout the whole house.
Yeah.
Versus having one and having to turn it up really loud so it
right.
everybody can hear it throughout the house, right?
Right.
Just a little tip. We always bring, what do we bring? Different flyers, right?
Yeah.
We bring the flyers for the house.
Definitely bring your flyers. Make sure you have cards.
We bring our listing packets, right? Just in case you meet a neighbor or somebody who you hit it off with. Okay. And we bring our buyer packets.
I was going to say a buyer agreement.
Yeah. Well, yes, but also I'm talking about the actual packet. Yeah. Yeah. So we have these like pre-listing and buyer packets that we have made up. Shows like our team, our experience, our results, stuff like that.
Yeah.
People don't ever read them, but the thing is just handing it to somebody that impacts.
Feels good.
Like if they went to like 10 open houses and you kind of hit it off with them, you hand them that packet, it's going to set you apart from everybody else that they meet.
Yeah.
That's
Especially
it, right?
if they're older.
Yes.
Big time.
Yeah, old people love that shit.
They appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
yep. Sign-ins. So there's a lot of debate. Some people don't use sign-in sheets. They're like, I just want to hit it off with one person and really connect with them, and then have them give me their contact info so we can work together. Some people use sign-in sheets. I think you should. I don't see any downside in using a sign-in sheet.
Yeah.
So sign-in sheet should have name, number, email at least, right?
Yeah.
You probably want to ask about like, are they working with an agent? You probably want to ask about time frame, right?
Yep.
In your conversation, but also on the sheet.
Yeah.
So we use an iPad that backs up to our CRM, makes it super easy. We have a tripod, iPad stand with the iPad on it. Somebody fills out their info on there, and it goes straight into our CRM, which is Lofty.
Yep. It looks super professional because it has, when you open up the questionnaire, like, so it says like first name, last name, they go down and fill it out, but it'll literally have like a picture of the house, and it'll be screening through the pictures of it or whatever. And it just looks really like cool. It's meant for that house, because it is. Right. And then it'll go to your CRM saying, or our CRM saying, you know, it was from this open house, and then with all the pieces in there. One benefit of doing the tablet or the iPad for sure is you got somebody who comes in there with trash handwriting. Yeah. Listen, if this guy right here came with your open house and put his information down, you're not reading it, buddy.
Yeah, they can't fake the handwriting on that one. They can't fake. Sometimes people will have like decent handwriting and like make it worse than it normally would be.
Right.
Yeah. To try to leave like bad info.
Exactly.
That's a good point. Yeah. And I think about that.
But listen, I see pros and cons in both, to be honest with you, because I don't think there's necessarily a right or a wrong one. I just think there's pros and cons. The tablet goes straight to your CRM. It's not much work. Some cons of it would be sometimes the Wi-Fi can be a little spotty. You have to put your hotspot on your phone. When your phone dies, that could be a problem. Yeah. You have to check off a little box on there that says, you know, I'm willing to receive marketing and stuff. Most people are totally fine, but if someone's actually reading that, they could see that.
Yep.
But obviously the cons with the papers, you maybe can't read it. Maybe it takes a little longer or something.
The biggest problem with
track, right? Maybe you don't like.
The biggest problem with paper for me is I would do the open house. I'd have the paper and I'd never put it in my CRM.
Exactly. Right.
I would say, it's Sunday. I just got done the open house. I want to go home and just chill and relax before Monday. And I'll just do it tomorrow. And then I wouldn't do it tomorrow. And then I would get caught up with buyers and sellers and contracts. And the paper would end up in the trash.
And by the way, that's a good point. So by the way, we have set up anyways is that when it goes into your CRM, so after the open house, you just basically swipe over on whatever it is. Just imagine you click import leads, and then it'll go into your CRM, and then they get automatically set up with an engagement, so an email campaign that has homes that are similar to that one. So they're already in there with all their information.
Yep.
Obviously, they don't have notes per se, but the notes are, you know, time frame, they have an agent, their information, of course.
Yep.
And they're already on the email campaign. So, like, if you're doing 2 open houses that day, or you're just looking to go hit the pool after it, and you're just like done because you've just been talking to people for 2 hours, you don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. So we should probably talk about the script. I mean, we're talking about when they first come in.
So now we're talking about like, during the open house, right? So what does that look like? Dude, I've seen so many bad open houses.
Yeah.
I just went to one like the other day, and like there was no process to it. Yeah. Most people are just standing around. Maybe you're wearing like a Eagles hat and you try to like talk to them about the Eagles or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But most people just have no system, no process for it. Right. And you can still do well doing that, but you're going to do much better with the system and the process.
No doubt. And not only that, but you can't track if you have no system. So if you're ever going to change anything, and you're saying, oh my goodness, if you're ever going to scale your business, right? You want to be a realtor that, hey, I want to do 30 plus deals a year. You got to know that, all right, if I do 1 open house a week, right? I can on average get maybe 2 leads from that open house and whatever I do to, if I have an open house, how much business is that going to give me?
Mm-hmm.
If you're just winging everything, you'll never know. It's never scalable. You'll never understand how to change it for better or for worse.
Yeah.
To be fair. So, sorry, that's my piece on that.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah.
So scripting during the open house. So first thing, I'll let you handle most of this because you're pretty good at it.
Yeah,
I think you're pretty good at connecting with people.
I see there's two different ways you can do it. Okay. Lately, I've been doing a bit of a different script.
Okay.
In general,
Let's hear it.
Yeah, I think there's two different ways you can do it.
We're always improving, right?
Yeah.
First thing, when people come in, okay, they're awkward, they're like a little shy, whatever. You got to take control of the situation. You have to be the professional there, right?
No doubt.
So if somebody walks in, you go, hey, welcome in. Thanks for stopping by the open house. I'm Rakan, and you are?
Matt.
Great to meet you, Matt. Thanks for coming in. Do you happen to live in the neighborhood, or are you out shopping for a home today?
Yeah, I mean shopping for a home.
Okay. Now I instantly know he's a buyer, right?
Right.
Could still be a seller, but at least not in the neighborhood, right? If they were like, oh, I live in the neighborhood, now they're a seller.
And really that sounds like, oh, well, we're looking. That's a buyer.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That's what
but you have to take control of the situation as soon as they walk in, right? Or they'll just walk all over you.
Yeah, no doubt.
They won't fill out if you don't ask them to fill out the sheet, they won't fill out the sheet.
You got to get that sheet thing done when they walk in. Yep. Otherwise, it will not happen.
Yep.
100%. Right?
Yep.
Don't try to do that at the end. That is a Hail Mary that will never work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but keep going.
So right after that, you go, okay, great. You're looking for a home. That's awesome. That's a great time. Matt, I'm going to have you sign in on this iPad for me real quick. I'm sure you're already working with a great agent. If you could just put their info down here for me. So if you have any questions, I'll send the info to them. Yeah. And in the meantime, I'm going to grab you some info on the house.
Right.
Cool?
Right.
I said info a lot there.
Yeah.
Anyway. So
they're filling that out immediately. Okay.
Yep.
Usually he lets it go silent once they're filling it out, because when you're talking
you don't want to
distract them from doing this iPad or whatever, and especially if they're writing it down. Especially that's on the iPad they can do it too, but especially if they're writing down, they'll kind of just skip stuff if you're talking with them, and it'll take them a while, and they kind of just
put the bare minimum. Yeah,
they're not so much worried about it. But if you kind of just like let them fill it out, they'll get it done. Then you can talk to them more or whatever.
Yep.
And they could actually just go grab them information or whatever.
Absolutely.
So after they fill it out, usually what I would say, right, is, okay, here's this information. Feel free to take a look around. Before you leave, circle back and come talk to me, whatever. That's what I would usually do. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing that I've started to do a bit in the beginning, the only thing I think that script is actually perfect in a lot of ways. But the other thing too that I'll do, I do both some, just depends on the open house. But when someone comes in, hey, welcome on in, might say that first question, hey, looking for a house, are you from the neighborhood?
Yep.
They answer, say, okay, awesome. Do we have an agent present with us? They say no. Okay, are they coming? No.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. Well, I say usually one of those two. And I'll say, do you have an agent? And they'll say yes or no. But if they say yes, okay, awesome. I'm just going to grab their information. Do you have their information? And then I'd start. Usually I go for the agent thing first. I usually say that. I usually do that.
Right.
Because if they see that I'm okay with them having an agent, but I'm still willing to talk to them, they think I'm less salesy, right? Because I'm asking because I just want their information. So like as I'm saying this, I usually have a notepad, my notepad, and I say, okay, awesome. And do you have their information? And I'm like waiting to write it down. And then now they might say, oh, we actually don't have an agent, but they're more comfortable saying that,
right? Because
they know I'm just looking to write it down.
Yep.
I'm not saying that because I'm looking to sell them something. I'm looking because I want to write it down. But if they don't have an agent, then I'll be like, okay, no worries. That's I completely understand. Just if you can, just come check in for me real quick, and I'll get you some information or whatever.
Yep.
The other thing,
I would flip it too and just say, but I'm sure you're already working with an agent, right?
Right.
Instead of saying, do you have an agent? Right. I'm sure you're already working with an agent, right?
Right. And in all honesty, I really like saying, okay, awesome. Do we have an agent with us? No. Are they coming? No. Okay, great. Do you have their information? Like, like childlike curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
but you have their information, right? Like,
Yep.
another thing they'll do is that. So one reason I like doing that though is because when they go like this, so they say, "Yes, I do."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's their last name? Let me grab their information, and they sound like they don't really know them, right?
Right.
And then I'll do this. I'll kind of chuckle. I'll be like, "Oh, okay, you've met them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've met them, right?"
Yep. That's good.
And a lot of times they haven't met them because they're a Zillow lead or
Mm-hmm.
they're a Realtor.com lead,
Yep.
and because of that, they haven't met them. They just talk to this person once over text or call,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and then they have a realtor. They do.
Yeah.
But I have a good chance of selling them into to not working with them and working with me, as messed up as it is, but it's not really that messed up.
Yeah.
Because why aren't they there with them?
Yeah.
Right? Do they know that you're there? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the opening to talk more into that or talk to them
Yeah.
about helping them, right?
That's a great point.
And also one question. Well, I guess this will circle back actually to the end of them being there. So let's just act like they kind of circle back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we the house was nice.
Mm-hmm.
What does this end conversation look like?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you ask them, hey, how'd you like to open a house,
Right.
or how'd you like the house? They give you some feedback based off of that. You can be like, well,
Mm-hmm.
a couple different avenues is if they didn't like the house, well, if I was able to find you a home with
Mm-hmm.
those things that you're looking for, is there any disadvantages to
Yeah.
seeing those homes?
Right.
Of course not, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you watch the showing framework video we did, like episode 4, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
that conversation is pretty much what it is there for a buyer, right? Hey, I'm just curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being it's perfect, 1 being I'd rather live in a cardboard box, what do you guys think about this home? What would you rate it? Oh, it's a 6. Okay, I'm curious. A lot of people gave it really good feedback. What made it a 6 for you? What brought it from like a 8, 9, or a 10 to a 6?
I actually love that you brought that up.
Oh, we actually need we thought we could make the finished basement work with another extra bedroom, but we really want to keep the kids upstairs with us. We want 4 bedrooms upstairs, right? Like, okay, so that would
I
be
think
like
that's
an
a
8 or a
perfect
9 or 10 for
thing to
you.
bring up.
Okay, so if I came across a home like that, would there be any disadvantages in going to take a look at that?
Right.
Something like that.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I think another thing, especially if they didn't have a realtor, well, it just depends on the situation, which kind of route you would go. But a question you could easily ask, um, especially if someone was like, we've been looking for a while, we've just been in open houses, and you'd be like, listen, can I make a recommendation? They say yes. If I was able to show you a strategy on how I'm getting my buyers, and instead of looking at open houses every weekend and just kind of twiddling your not twiddling your thumbs, but spinning your wheels and not necessarily finding the home that you're looking for, how I could show a strategy how I'm getting my buyers into the dream home that they're looking for in this market. I mean, is there any disadvantages to doing that? I mean, of course not, right?
Yeah.
It's like a strategy session or a consultation, right?
Set a buyer consult.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. It's like we said in the showing podcast, right? I can't remember last time I showed a buyer more than like 5 or 6 homes, right? So that's an easy conversation. Hey, my clients typically only look at about 5 homes before I help find them the right home. Right. Is that something that'd be worth at least sitting down and having a conversation about?
Right.
Easy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good ones there. On the listing side, what about on the seller side? Say you talk to a neighbor. Oh, wait. First, I want to circle back to the agent thing, okay? I want to emphasize this point because most people will not get this, okay? If somebody says they have an agent, probably 7 times out of 10, they don't really have an agent. They haven't signed paperwork with them. They're not working with them really, right? They haven't been working with them for a long time. Maybe they put their info in on Google and they talked to someone on the phone once. Right. And now they're like, I have an agent, okay? There's a lot of opportunity there for you to earn their business and work with that client and make that sale, right? Now, if somebody's like, yeah, I'm working with Matt Davis at First State Home Team. We already signed paperwork. We've been working together for 6 months. Totally get it. Absolutely, right? You're not going to step on anyone's toes there. But again, 7 times out of 10, probably, that's not the case.
Right.
You're like, hey, who's your agent? Matt. What's his last name?
Right.
I don't know.
And you don't have to sound salesy with
do you
it
have his
too.
contact
You could just
info?
be like this. You could just be
No.
like this. Oh yeah, awesome. Who's your agent? They say Matt, and they're like, okay, and you're like, okay, awesome. Yeah, I know a few Matts. What's his
Mm-hmm.
last name? Just like not sounding like, or yeah, is he a real person? But it's more
Right.
like, oh, I know a few Matts. Like I
Right.
might know him. That's cool. It's not salesy at all. It's more or less like they don't know, but you're
Yeah.
asking them because you want to know if they've actually met that guy before because they
Yeah.
probably haven't.
Absolutely.
What's an objection handler
Mm-hmm.
for now? Once again, you don't necessarily have to do this. You don't have to press this hard, but there's a lot of opportunities where it does make sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe you know that this agent, whether they're good or not, maybe they just haven't met them or whatever, and it might make sense to try to work with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're spinning their wheels, like we've said. Well, an objection handler for that is, let's just say, I don't know the context in which you would say this, but
Mm-hmm.
the disadvantages one to
Right. Right.
getting a second opinion, right? So it'd be like, I mean, if you want to just hit me with it, and I'll just say the objection handler, as if we're at the open house or something.
Hit you with what?
The objection that I have an agent.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I have an agent already.
Yeah, I completely understand, Rakan. Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
Last thing I want to do is step on any toes, of course, and I understand you may or may not have met them, but do you see any disadvantages to hearing a second opinion?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been talking to this guy for a little bit.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, it sounds like maybe they haven't taken the opportunity to sit down with you and share their strategy over maybe a cup of coffee and, how they're getting their buyers a home in this market. Is that right?
Yeah, no. I mean, I talked to him a couple times on the phone.
I mean, listen,
He sends me
the
some
decision, of
emails.
course, is completely yours. But if I had the opportunity to just sit down with you for 15 minutes and show you that strategy, and then you can tell me whether you want to work together or not. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, we're not agreeing to anything right now,
Yeah,
but there's no disadvantages to that, right?
yeah. We're just gonna see if it makes sense to work together, right?
Yeah.
I'm sold. Yeah.
That's what I do. So
That was good. Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
Really good.
So you want to talk about the seller side?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So if you identify somebody as a potential listing, if you ask them that initial question, hey, are you out shopping for a home today, or do you happen to just live in the neighborhood? Let's say they live in the neighborhood, right? You can talk to them about, like, try to build some rapport. Hey, what drew you to this neighborhood? What do you like about it? How long have you been here? Sometimes that'll open up things in the conversation where maybe it makes sense to try to get an appointment or get a follow-up with them, something like that, right?
Right.
Maybe they're like, oh yeah, we moved here for the school district. Okay, how long have you been here? 20 years. Okay,
Right.
well,
Well,
our
his
kids
kids
are out
aren't
of
in the
school
school
now,
district
right? Like,
anymore.
okay. So that might open up some conversations, make it kind of an easy layup for you. But I think probably going back to that door knocking script is probably one of the best ones, right? Where it's like, hey, as you can see, we have a ton of people here. I'm just curious, maybe you're not thinking about it. Do you know anyone else in the neighborhood who might be thinking of making a move? Where,
Right.
like, if this home doesn't work for a buyer for some reason, maybe we could work something out for them.
That's like the Alex Hormozy play. You don't have to ask them directly.
Yeah.
You can ask them
You
about
can
other
ask them
people,
directly, but you can also ask.
which is in turn kind of asking them
Right.
too, like,
Right.
hey, I mean, by chance, I mean, you've seen how busy this open house is, or even if
Mm-hmm.
it's not busy, hey, I think we have a couple offers on this home. There's
Yep.
going to be some buyers missing out on it. You
Yep.
don't know if any of the neighbors were looking to sell. I mean, we're going to have
Mm-hmm.
other people looking in the neighborhood or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if they had any interest, they might say, well, actually, I've thought about selling.
Right.
But of course, you can ask them straightforward as well too. And in all honesty, like, I'd probably do that
Mm-hmm.
a lot, if not more often than
You could. I mean, even if you ask, if you say, hey, I'm sure you're not looking to move, right? I'm sure you're in your forever home. But who do you know in the neighborhood who might be thinking of making a move?
Right.
A lot of times I'll say, I don't know anyone, but I'm looking to make a move.
Yeah,
right.
right.
Usually they'll tell you.
Right.
So.
And they say, well, this is my forever home. I'm like, well, can I get you a better home?
Yeah.
Like,
if they say it's their forever home, you're done here. That's the end of
God.
the conversation for the most part. Unless you're like, I don't know, throw a Hail Mary and you're like,
Can
hey, things change, life happens. Is it valuable to you at all if I keep you up to date on your home's value? Right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Maybe you could
You
do
just
that.
give them a card.
It's such a long shot. But
I know you're going to be in the neighborhood for a while, so I'm sure you'll know a lot of the neighbors and all.
Mhm.
If you can, I mean, it would be awesome if you could just give them my card or whatever.
Yep.
Or you could be like, listen, what's your kid's contact information? when you're gone. No, no, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Definitely don't do that.
I heard somebody do that once.
No.
Some like real estate coach. He was talking about like when people say like, "I'm in this house till I die." It's like, yeah, what's your kid's contact info? Like, I'll get. You're doing too much.
That's like an Andy Elliott. Like,
just move on to the next person.
Yeah.
Find somebody who needs your help.
Yeah, that's funny.
Cool. So with open houses, like it's not always necessarily a script, it's more of a framework. I think that's how most conversations are, right? It's like a if then kind of a framework. So for the listing side, there you've got like, hey, is there any disadvantage in me letting you know if we get multiple offers on the home?
Reopposed.
I'm sure you're in your forever home. Is that right? And then usually they'll like correct you. Like there's a lot of different kind of one-liners there that can open up a conversation.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good for the listing side, right?
Yeah, I would agree so. Yeah. You could also ask them more about their house and just get, I mean, there's a lot of ways to start that conversation.
Yeah. How does this house compare to yours?
Right.
Do you get any design ideas from this house that you're going to steal? Like, make stupid little jokes.
Right. So the last thing I would say to talk about is you finish the open house, you pull everything back in, right? You can probably make another social media post. Hey, just finished up this open house. It was so packed.
Yep.
Blah, 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 right? But you contact those leads. No?
Yeah.
How you do that?
Absolutely. So ideally, probably the best thing to do right after the open house is send them a video text. Right? So you got their contact info from the sheet. Take a quick video, go, hey, Matt, it was amazing meeting you at the open house. I had a great time getting to know you a little bit. And just kind of reference their conversation. I look forward to maybe helping you, sitting down with you and helping you make a move from New Jersey here to Delaware, right?
Yeah.
Send that video text out. And then Monday, you follow up with a call, right?
Right.
You could do a text message there too, but a video text
Let's be real here, guys.
Much
Stop
more
being
impactful.
Scared of the phone.
Yep.
The phone call is the most valuable piece, besides in person, but the most valuable piece of connecting over everything.
I'm talking about right after the open house, the text.
Right. Well, I mean, like the second time you contact, the call on Monday, or whatever.
Yeah.
If you can call them, like you should, but obviously it's optional.
Yep.
And
you definitely have to call them.
What's that call look like?
Welcome back.
Yeah. So if you can't tell, we are in different clothes, and guess what?
Take 3.
You would think this is the second time us recording this. No,
3.
These last 2 minutes of this episode, we're recording it for the third time now, but that's okay because that means we know exactly.
Yep.
The sauce of this part of the video. So
we ended up last section of this episode talking about what does that follow-up look like after an open house.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do I call and what do I say?
So you have the contact information. You have them sign in. You have it. Your first name, last name, phone number, probably their email, whatever you have.
Yep.
So what does that follow-up look like? I remember we had said, I think this was caught in the last episode, but you might send a video message at the least a text.
Yep.
But a video message the day after. So, well, really, if let's just say you do the open house on Saturday, Sunday, or no, sorry,
should be
same
the day.
Same day, you should be sending that text or video message, and then maybe early next week, like Monday, you should be giving them a call, right? So then we're talking about, well, what does that call look like? So if you want to talk about what that call looks like,
yeah, why don't you talk about it?
Okay.
What did yours sound like after this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you what. I gotta make that call right now. But it basically what the call looks like is, hey, so and so, or we can just role play real quick. Hey, Rakan.
Yeah.
Hey, Rakan. This is Matthew Davis, the realtor from the open house this weekend at blah 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 address 123 Main Street.
Oh yeah.
I just had a quick question. Is that okay?
Sure.
Awesome, Rakan. Yeah, I remember you telling me a little bit about looking to upsize on your next home, which by the way, for us, just side note, on the way we have them sign in, it'll say like their time frame, what their motivation is, do they have an agent,
downsize, relocate, first time home buyer.
Exactly, you could kind of use that. But I remember you had said something about upsizing for your family. I was just curious. I had a few other homes that were similar to that other one that might interest you. Do you have any downside to seeing those homes?
No, I guess not.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I can send those homes to you now, Rakan. I mean, I guess that's not really what that would sound like, but
That's not bad.
not bad.
No, that's
Something
pretty
like
good.
that.
I think you could probably add in the like, hey, has anybody taken the time to sit down with you
Yeah.
and kind of come up with a game plan for you? Hey, Matt, I know we met at the open house, and I know you said you've been looking for like 9 months, just kind of browsing, going to open houses. So, can I ask you, like, has anyone taken the time to sit down with you and really walk you through what it would look like to sell and buy at the same time in this market?
Right. And
And
hopefully,
the answer is going to be no.
Yeah. Hopefully,
probably, right?
Hopefully, you remember some of your conversation with them.
Yep.
Because if you remember, if you talked with them and they're a first time home buyer, like that conversation looks different.
Yep. Yeah. Pretty good.
But I think just making the phone call means the most. I mean, like,
yeah, making the phone call, you're 90% of the way there.
Yeah, literally.
Where most agents won't do.
Yeah. Hey, do you have any interest in knowing what happened to that property?
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
That's a good one
because they're always curious.
Especially if you meet neighbors, you can follow up, let them know how the open house went. Hey, actually, we got multiple offers on it. We still have some buyers that love the neighborhood, but they couldn't, win the bid on that home. Right. Do you know anyone in the neighborhood who might be thinking about moving?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a good one. All right. Wawa gift card. So we do a raffle. Wawa gift card. We give a Wawa $50, I think, Wawa gift card. If you meet somebody and they seem like a really good prospect for you, you can make them the winner of the gift card.
So it's everybody that signs in.
Yep, everyone that signs in gets entered to win. And I mean, even if you get multiple good leads and you want to really cement that relationship, you can give multiple gift cards away too, right?
Yeah, just tell them.
But the point is just that high value touch point to either hand deliver or mail them that gift card. That's going to really make you stand out in their mind as a realtor, right?
No doubt. No one's doing that.
Yeah.
Like no one's dropping off a $25, $50 Wawa gift card or a gift card with all whatever after an open house. Like nobody does that.
No, I haven't seen anyone do it. Yep. Last note, guys, if you want to get really good at open houses, study a new construction sales rep, right? That's their job. Is literally they're just doing open houses all day long, pretty much. And they're following up with people from open houses all day long. I'm sure everybody listening to this has a decent relationship with at least one good new construction rep. Mm-hmm. Ask them what their process is like, right? Do they just wing it? Do they let people just walk in and go, hey, how are you? I'm good.
Look around.
Okay, let me know if you need anything. Take a look around. Let me know if you need anything. No, you walk in. Hi, I'm Rakan. You are? Matt. Hey, Matt, great to meet you. What brings you in today? Like, what caught your eye about this community? Okay, what's your goal? Are you looking to upsize, downsize, relocate? How much do you know about the community? Okay, well, we have a lot of options here. I could just go through all of it, but I'd rather ask you a couple questions so I know how to best help you. Is that fair?
Yeah. 100%.
Right? Okay, what price range are you looking at? How much square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, right? They have a process dialed in. Right. Good ones do, at least.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's literally all they do. That is their job to have an open house. You're right.
Absolutely.
I didn't even think about that, really.
Cool. Wrap it up there.
No doubt.
Check out last episode was business building. We built a 30-hour a week, sell 30 homes a year in 30-hour a week business plan, built it out on whiteboard live. And then next week is going to be our SOI marketing system, right? How to work with friends, family, people that already know, like, and trust you, and how to do it in a fun, non-pushy way.
Yeah. Cool. So this was from that last episode, 30 sales in 30 hours a week. Mm-hmm. We talked about advertising, marketing,
prospecting,
cold prospecting, and then SOI. Like, these are your 3 buckets for leads. Mm-hmm. So today is obviously cold prospecting. This next episode is your SOI, referral based. Yep. And then we should probably dedicate an episode, I guess, to advertising leads. I mean, there is a play for that.
Yep.
So
yeah.
So
all right.
Expect that one as well.
We will. All right. Thanks, guys.